Oh, very good. Very. It's all part of my Machiavellian plan to get him to Arsenal.
Yeah, but okay. Why? Why do you want to take him to Arsenal?
Oh, I just think all this debate about Ronaldo is such a crock of garbage. This is a guy who at 37 last season scored 24 goals, 6 in the Champions League. He scored 18 in the Premier League, one more than Harry Kane, who we all laud as one of the top strikers in the world. Yet because it's Cristiano, because previously he scored a lot more, suddenly apparently he's finished and he can't be started. And Ten Hag, who thinks he knows more about football than Cristiano Ronaldo, treats him like a naughty schoolboy. I would take him. Arsenal. What do Arsenal need right now? I bet you've debated this. To try and win the league against, say, a team like City, who have a much deeper world-class squad. What do we need? We probably need a poacher goal scorer who probably isn't going to be running around because we've got Gabriel Jesus to do that, and he's brilliant. But we need a striker. If we could have Ronaldo for 6 months with a point to prove, I'd take him in a heartbeat. It's not going to happen. Arteta won't do it. But if you ask me honestly, would I take Ronaldo? Absolutely. Greatest player to ever play the game. And like I say, just a few months ago, finished the season with a hatful of awards from Manchester United for being their best player of the season and scored one more goal in the league than Harry Kane.
Do you know what, Piers? Listen, he had a great season. I wouldn't have him back at Arsenal because I just think what Arsenal have got right now, do you really want that stepping back into the dressing room? And also, you said you'd like him at Arsenal, but who would you drop? Because right now, at the minute, you wouldn't drop any of them.
I play him up front with Jesus, and I think Jesus is a brilliant striker who works ferociously hard. His heat map is unbelievable, but he doesn't score that many goals, not by comparison to Ronaldo. You just get Ronaldo to score goals.
But who'd you take out the team now?
Well, I would work that out, but you got a lot of games to play. But what I would say is that he would get much better service at Arsenal than he gets at Manchester United. He's only started 4 games this season, having ended the top scorer last season. This is one of the reasons he feels so frustrated.
Piers, let me ask you this question, right? So we know football, like any industry, is so cutthroat, right? But the manager, and it happens to be Erik Ten Hag, he's paid to make decisions, right? Some footballers are going to like, some aren't going to like, right? But that's his job, right? He lives by his decisions, he dies by them. There are lots and lots of players that he will not pick that don't have a sit-down chat with Piers Morgan. Why is it okay for one of them, in this case Ronaldo, to throw his toys out the pram?
Well, because he's had more press attention and sniping in the last 6 months than probably every other player in world football combined. Because he is the most magnetic, charismatic and talked about footballer in the world. He's got nearly 500 million followers on Instagram, which is more than any other human being.
But if the manager doesn't want to pick him, that's his prerogative, right?
Of course it is, and it's entirely Ronaldo's prerogative to not like it. Now, I would say I look at it a different way. I'd say, what does it say about a guy that he's 37 and he's still desperate to play every minute of every game? What does it say about him? He still wants to play Champions League football and feels the team he's at, the club he's rejoined, is not at the right level. What does it say about him? He's got this burning hunger to still break records and win big trophies. If I'm a United fan, I want more people like Ronaldo and less of the ones who don't have that kind of burning hunger. And I think the way he's been treated, frankly, has been a total disgrace. And when people watch the whole interview, not just the clips, but the whole interview, first half tonight, second half tomorrow night on Talk TV, I bet you will all have a slight rethink about being quite so hasty in judging Ronaldo.
Piers, let me ask you, do you think this interview with you, and we've all seen the clips, has helped Ronaldo or hindered him? And when I say hindered, is that other teams that potentially will take Ronaldo in January, do you think they'll be looking at this interview thinking, yeah, he's the type of character we want, or do you think that might put them off?
Well, look, he got suspended for the first time in his career in October this year by Ten Hag. It's never happened to him before. He's a model professional. He keeps himself in unbelievable condition. He has the body and the fitness of a 30-year-old, right? So this idea that somehow he's past it is complete nonsense. And it's been drummed up by a media that seems to just constantly want to attack him. And so I think he's perfectly entitled to have his say and set the record straight. And I'll give you one example, which I think is just a glaring example. When he didn't turn up for pre-season, he was widely castigated, probably on your show as well. I didn't listen to it, so I don't want to judge you guys. But widely castigated for wanting to get out of United. This is what it was all about. How dare he not come back for pre-season, blah, blah, blah. And what was the real reason? The real reason was that 3 months after his baby son died in childbirth, who was one of twins, and the little girl who survived, who was now 3 months old, got bad bronchitis and spent a week in hospital. That is why he missed pre-season training, right? And the idea that he has to sit there and read and listen and watch people condemning him for being, a spoiled prima donna when that was what he was going through 3 months after losing a baby, I think is disgusting. And so, yeah, damn right he's allowed to have his say.
Okay, let me get back to matters on the pitch, right, Piers. As a Man United fan, I look at how we play with him and I look at how we play without him. And I think as an 11, as a unit, we play better without him. And I think
utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. I'm sorry. I'm going to question it.
But stats confirm that.
No. I could give you a million stats. Here's a stat you probably want to ignore.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, greatest goal scorer of all time. Ronaldo, last season, top scorer by a mile in that United team.
Yeah.
Ronaldo has started 4 games this season, right? Give Ronaldo proper run in the team, he'll be the Ronaldo that we saw last season. Nothing's changed. He hasn't suddenly become a bad player in 3 months. This whole narrative is complete nonsense. And I think and that's all part of his feeling that he's just not valued there, that he's got increasingly frustrated. This is, by the way, United are not a good team under Ten Hag. They're 5th in the league. Right, they've got to go through the playoffs now for the Europa League, which is embarrassing. Right, so this idea that somehow Ten Hag is the great revolutionary is going to save them, they were doing a lot better under Mourinho. So
no, they weren't. They weren't. The football we were playing under Jose was appalling, and the cloud over the club. It does.
Mourinho came second with United.
It doesn't matter.
Right?
Honestly, Piers, the cloud over that club when he was there, very much like his time at Chelsea then was just horrible.
Piers, just one thing you said there about Ronaldo. I know he had a fantastic season last season, right? But you got to think he done well last season, but they finished 6th. The season before he got there,
it wasn't his fault, was it?
Yeah, but they finished
them being relegated.
Yeah, but they finished 2nd before he got there.
Yes, but what would they have done without his goals last season?
7th.
Yeah, but Piers, let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this. I hear what you're saying, right? But no footballer on the planet, irrelevant of who they are, has any divine right to be in the starting 11. If Ten Hag or any manager doesn't want to play him, that's his prerogative.
Yeah, of course it is, but it's also Ronaldo's prerogative after the year that he's had and the criticisms he's faced both internally and externally to have his say. And he doesn't do this very often, by the way.
Let me
right?
ask you this.
So this is a very rare situation for him.
Okay, let me ask you this. I don't know if you're aware, but earlier on today, his United and French teammate, well, not French teammate, but the French defender, Raphael Varane, was asked whether or not Ronaldo's comments would affect his club teammates. Varane actually replied, obviously, I'm quoting here, obviously it affects us. We follow what is happening and what is being said. So it affects the dressing room at United. How do you think his teammates will treat him when and if he returns to Manchester?
I think when you watch the whole interview, one of the things that will be very striking is that with a couple of notable exceptions, a lot of that United dressing room, the younger ones, have not been interested in trying to learn from Cristiano Ronaldo, and certainly not in the way that he did when he played at United under Roy Keane and Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes. He said he had a real hunger to learn from the older, better players, and it made him a better player. And he said, I don't like to advise young players, but I hope that they look at me about things like diet and fitness and nutrition and training and work ethic and all this kind of thing. And they want to learn from somebody like me with my record, with 5 Ballon d'Ors, with winning the league in 4 different countries, with 5 Champions League medals. But they're not interested. They're just not interested. He said it's a malaise that is now everywhere in football with younger players. They're earning too much money. They don't have the hunger and they don't have the respect for players like Ronaldo. So I think he wants to go to a club, frankly, where he's going to get valued more by the manager, valued more by the teammates, and there's an appreciation of what he's achieved in the game. Ibrahimovic is still banging him in at 40. Ronaldo's 37. I mean, really, you're only as good or bad as your fitness, and Ronaldo remains one of the fittest people in world sport. So this narrative that somehow he's no longer a good player is complete nonsense.
Okay, let me just ask one last question, although Bentley, I think, has got one.
No.
My understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, the interview was done on a Friday or a Saturday, and there was a game before and a game after that he said he couldn't play because he was ill.
No, not true.
That's not... What part of that's not true?
It's not true that he did an interview when it hadn't been resolved that he wasn't going to be playing. So he was told he wasn't going to be playing, and he did an interview.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I hope he goes to Arsenal.
No. We're fine as we are.
I mean, it's unbelievable to me that you guys are all openly mocking Cristiano.
Do you know what, Piers? I'm not mocking him.
No offense. I mean, Darren, no offense, mate, but compare your trophy cabinets. I'm not being...
No one could do that.
I'm not trying to score points. Well, exactly. Nobody can do that.
What?
And if last season he'd had a bad season, fine, I get it. 24 goals, one more league goal than Harry Kane. And you guys have written him off, and you think he's laughable.
No, I'm not writing him off.
He should go to another big club.
No, I think he's a great goal scorer, but what Arsenal are doing currently right now, I don't think he fits into that. I think what Arteta's doing with this current Arsenal squad, which is why they currently sit top of the table.
Listen, he's not going to go to Arsenal. But my point is, if you ask me honestly, do we need a player like Ronaldo with his experience, with his natural goal-scoring ability, with no need for him to press or any of those things, because we've got all the players that do that, would I take him for 6 months? Say to win the league, take his wages. Absolutely. Okay. And Arsenal fans who don't want to do that, see how we do if we get a few injuries to key players. We need a new striker in January, and why not Ronaldo if he's available?
Can I just for the record, I wasn't laughing at him. I was merely laughing at the fact there have been other great players, Rooney, Beckham, Messi, Zidane, that have all had problems at club level and haven't had sit-down chats. That's all I'm saying.
Well, actually, I mean, Beckham used to talk to the media and brief them all the time. These guys often brief the media and often get their narrative out there.
I know.
And Rooney, let's be honest, look, Rooney had to give up football a lot younger than Ronaldo because his fitness levels weren't the same. I think if someone's this dedicated, the very least we should do is respect them. And I think the lack of respect for Ronaldo this year has been palpable and completely unacceptable for what he's achieved in the game.
Piers, I cannot wait. Look, I cannot wait.
Watch the interview. Watch the interview.
I'll watch it.
And I'm sure your listeners will be screaming, shouting, agreeing with me, whatever. But ultimately, don't judge him on a few clips, good though they've been. Okay. Don't judge him on front page headlines. Judge him on the whole interview over the next 2 nights.
I'll watch part 1 tonight. We'll get you back on tomorrow.
I would happily do that.
Okay, all right.
Booked.
There you go. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Piers, you're a superstar. Thanks for coming on.
8 o'clock tonight, Talk TV.
Okay, a reminder, thanks Piers, a reminder you can watch the full Cristiano Ronaldo interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored on Talk TV in a 2-part special. That's tonight and tomorrow at 8 p.m. Channel numbers you need to look out for: Sky 526, 3View 237, Virgin 606, or download the Talk TV app.